Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. Broadway On Demand, which is one of the leading live stream platforms for theater, will offer the world premiere of Burning Man, the musical, on August 27th in conjunction with the 2021 edition of Virtual Burning Man. So please welcome two of the show's stars, Max Crumm and Tally Sessions.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Very well, Richie. Thank you. How are you?
I think we all got the red memo, right?
Didn't we?
Yep.
I
Seems
love this.
like it.
Well, listen, first off, how are you guys and where are you? Max, I'll start with you. Where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Washington Heights in Manhattan, and that's it. I'm just coming to you from my living room, which kind of looks like a really cute little set.
It does.
But that's it. Yeah. This is where I'm going to start my video vlog, I think, where I smoke weed with Broadway stars.
I love it. Okay. Tally, where are you coming from?
I would expect nothing less. I am coming to you from San Diego. I'm out at the Old Globe doing in rehearsals for a new musical called The Gardens of Annuncia by Michael John LaChiusa that's about Graciela Danielle, and she's actually directing and choreographing it. So we're in rehearsal, but today's my day off.
Very excited because the last time I saw you was with Jennifer Diamond on 9th Avenue.
That's right.
Because I thought maybe you were coming from Hell's Kitchen, but look, I love it. San Diego. You know,
I'm always coming from Hell's Kitchen.
Of course you are. Listen, it's great to be catching up with both of you. Are you both able to put into perspective what the past almost 16 months have been like for each of you? Any of you can start this.
That's a great question. I can just say that I'll speak as a theater artist. I always knew that it was sort of part of my DNA, like that, meaning it had become part of my DNA, that I loved it so much. It was the absence of it, the inability to do it and to replicate that kind of energy exchange with an audience, plus the community that we have in the theater, backstage crew, dressers, front of house, other actors, yes, musicians. You just, no amount of Zoom concerts or Zoom readings or even concerts that in an outdoor venue can mimic that. So I really noted its absence. It was a long time, and I mean, I think when we all first started, we thought the industry shut down for 5 weeks, and here we are 16, 17 months later.
Beautifully put. Max, for you.
I think for me, it just, I don't know. I feel like I just turned into even more of a sponge than I was. And I miss it all. But I missed it before. I was used to missing it. I didn't really I don't know how to describe it, but I still feel like I'm still healing from it and sort of trying to take in as many people's perspectives on it as possible, because I feel like the pandemic is not over. Capitalism is just deciding that they're over it. So I feel weird sort of talking about it in that way, because I feel like it's still here, and I like that theater's coming back. I will say, I'm so happy about that. And I just want to make sure everybody's safe and happy and healthy. Cause this really, this whole last 18 months for me has been such an time of I feel like I've just been open to the world and kind of been listening again, like a sponge. I don't know.
No, I like that. I think as the one thing is, I think we've been connected in a totally different way. Everyone's gave up their cell phones and all this stuff, that I think when you have a conversation, even if it's the three of us here, we're in the moment, we're present, we're not filled with all this other stuff that we used to fill ourselves with before this.
Right.
You know, it's just so interesting. How did you two stay positive? I mean, that's a big thing. My glass has always been half full. You guys know that. So I was just trying to figure out, a lot of people trying to find that answer, how did everybody stay positive during this, and how are you staying positive now?
I'll just tell I stayed positive with I was fortunate enough to have some really close friends that were in the city. I stayed in the city, and I stayed in contact with my family. Luckily, I was able to do that, and they were able to do that. And I think just having my dog. I have like my, it's just, and I really leaned into being sillier online and just kind of trying to make people laugh. And that's been something that's kind of helped, as much as it could,
Beautiful. Tally, for you.
In many ways, I think, my philosophy, while respecting other viewpoints, my philosophy is, what other choice do we have than to be positive? And I don't mean that in a Pollyanna-ish kind of way. It's like there are things that we can do to ensure that some kind of positive outcome is reached, whether that be protecting ourselves, protecting each other from the virus, doing our parts. And in terms of just individually, in the absence of the ability to perform live, just trying to refocus energy. I taught a lot. I think some kind of service is always very positive, and I found a lot of worth in trying to help others. Like I did this when our colleague and friend Nick Cordero was going through his battle with COVID. Along with David Josephsberg and thousands of other people, I recorded a video every day to try to help support Amanda Klutz and him. And that I found positivity in that, because I was doing something. It's sort of just I felt like, what can I do to stay in the world? And I mean that on a macro level. I'm not talking about theater, just in the world, present, like I didn't feel like I was wasting away in my apartment doing nothing and stressed and worried and terrified of what was happening out in the world, because like I won't speak for either of you, but this was my first experience with a global pandemic, and there was new information every day, and trying not to get overwhelmed with just the waves and waves of false information or things they were learning. I think, but I also, I'll piggyback on what Max said, like friends and family, like staying connected to dear friends and making a point of checking in on them as much as I wanted to be checked in on.
Well, I love it, because I just figured that everybody around the world was sort of going through the same thing we were. So I said, I'm going to ride this out and just be as positive I can, take in the information and do the best you can. That's really all we can do. So thank you. So honest, guys, with that. Congratulations on Burning Man, the musical.
Thank you.
How excited are the two of you to have worked on this? Max, I'll start with you.
I'm very excited. I honestly, I can't believe this movie musical. I don't know. I'm really excited to be a part of it. I was really happy to get out of the house, to be with theater people doing that was something that was really exciting for me, was these are theater people doing a movie musical. 'Cause, no shade, but sometimes they don't get theater people to do those. And so it can, just elevate material hugely. And I think that's what this cast and these people did. And I think this is so weird, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Tally, for you, working on Burning Man.
It was fantastic. I mean, what a gift to be able to work, period, but to be able to work in person, and they really, really, really looked out for us in terms of safety. We were constantly tested in our time shooting up there, but just to be around artists, and again, I strive very hard to be inclusive, and I'm not qualifying, but artists of all kinds, not just in front of the camera, behind the camera, the people that were getting things ready, set decorators. It truly takes a village, and to have that community. Go back to your earlier question. That again is the thing that I missed more than anything, and it's as true on a film set as probably more true in the theater. But because we had theater people, it felt very communal. We were, we were also under the gun, to get this film shot in 3 weeks. And the other thing is just blown away at the level of invention and creativity and open-heartedness that people have in an effort to create something. I will tell you, Max, I think we had one tiny little scene together, but after seeing the trailer cut, and I was already a fan of Max's talent, I was like, I can't wait to see what the hell this lunatic did in this film, because it's just from the trailer. I haven't seen the cut of the film yet. I was like, oh man, it's going to be wild and fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely meant. Thank you for saying that. It's definitely meant, I think, to be, watched, if I can say this, on drugs.
That could be caffeine. That could be anything.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. But it's meant to be celebrated in that way, I believe.
And yeah, there's another. I will say, I really respected the level of collaboration from the creators as well. Max, I'm sure maybe you can speak to this as well. We were given a fair amount of freedom to improvise and try to more deeply root the scenes, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, it's like I said, like getting theater people is so, we're able to just sort of make, I believe, things truthful in a weird setting, which is, I wonder my hand sick, but like, this is just the hijinks in this film and the weird scenarios are all done, I mean, from what I experienced filming it, very truthfully and very honestly. And so I haven't seen it either. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I know that it's going to be a crazy musical, Richard. That's what I know.
Okay. I said the same thing from the trailer. Max, who do you play?
I play a character named Chad, who is a polyamorous camp goer, and Chad is just a misguided soul. He loves everybody. He wants to be a part of everything and in every social circle, and he sort of goes through a transformation in the movie via like doing ayahuasca. So there's like a whole sort of that, and that's really all I know. I only know my scenes, so I don't know even what happens. Who do you play, Tally?
You didn't read the screenplay.
Yeah, no, I pressed mute when we did all the Zoom rehearsals. I really just, I didn't want to be tainted.
Tally, who do you play?
I play the villain of the piece, Bill the billionaire, sort of a takeoff on a sort of a Trumpian Elon Musk kind of a tech investor who wants to and strives to appropriate the Burning Man community for the one percenters. He wants to commercialize it, and it's about how the film's not about. He tries to use our protagonist and manipulate her into helping him do that.
It must have been so great to be a part of a brand new musical that was filmed.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it really was. It was really weird because, we recorded the whole album inside of hotel rooms because we were all holed up in a hotel doing, COVID tests every other day and stuff. And so you would learn a song in a day and then record it in the hotel room. And then they would have the playback for you when you were filming. And now they're sort of remastering and doing all that stuff. So that was all just very quick. It was, if you'd ever done like a 24-hour reading or like a musical like that, like a week long, it very much had the energy of that. Like we just sort of put one of those up real quick in its final sort of stages, which was really kind of exciting, but also so weird, real quick. Like that's it. Now people can watch that forever.
Yeah. And there's a lot of trust involved because even though they did involve theater people, the film is an editor's medium. So I'm sure that Max did, but I know that I just kind of threw stuff at the wall, as many takes as possible, and they're going to choose what they can choose. And so you have to trust that that's going to come out well on the other end. But I will say, I had a blast doing it. I was again felt so fortunate to be working. But I didn't know, once I saw the first cut of the trailer, and I don't even know, it's the trailer we were sent like sort of a longer version of it. But I was like, this thing looks great. I mean, I had no idea the kind of effects they were going to do, the jump cuts, the editing. you don't know, and because you're in it and you're not watching yourself, which you shouldn't be. But I got really excited, and a couple of friends, actually several friends that have seen it, they're like, "What the hell is this badass weird thing that
like,
you're
what
doing?
is this?
Yeah, what is this? This looks really cool." And you trust that it is.
See, creative people can make work anywhere. That's been one of the positives of the pandemic. Everyone I've spoken to, actors and performers all around the world, they're like, I've turned my closet into a sound booth. I've taken all my, thrown the clothes out. I've turned it into a sound booth, or I use this wall for self-tapes. It's like creative people can make art anywhere. So I'm sure, it must have been like going back when you first went to acting school or drama school. You're like, oh my God, this is what we do. So now you have a director on this film set for Burning Man. You're like, you'll come up here for a week or so. You'll record a number in your hotel. You'll rehearse, and then we'll shoot it. And you're like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, you say that, I'm like, wait a damn minute. That's what we. That's what we do. But it's to Max's point, it was very much like cinematic summer stock, or like well, but like you said, we went all the way to we did the reading, the lab, the out of town tryout, and the opening night all in 3 weeks, which is amazing. I'm telling you, like I'm not telling you, I don't need anything you don't know. Our community,
we can do that.
We can do anything. I mean, theater people can really do anything, and again, all facets of. We'll just make it happen.
Where did you film? Where was the location?
We filmed in Saratoga Springs.
Ooh.
So it was in this scary old haunted mansion, and it had this like barn attached that they built a soundstage inside of, which is like so Godspell, like Jesus Christ Superstar, like. I say this out of love. This movie, and I mean this out of love, this movie is like those movies you would go and rent from the library in the 90s. Like, it's just going to be we're so in it, I believe. And it's just so like, because we believe it, I hope, you believe it. I mean, again, I haven't seen it, so I'm like, oh, what? But, yeah.
Pally, was it magical for you too, like going to this mansion and doing all this stuff and then going to the soundstage in the barn?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was such a. I could never discount the fact that we were working in the like, and I agree with Max. We're still in the pandemic, but we were working in the throes of this pandemic, and we're in this little bubble, and we would get our food delivered to our hotel room without seeing anyone. We would have a test every couple days, go and shoot and have like side conversations with the writer and the director saying, what this scene, can we try this? Can we try that? And they're like, yeah, go for that. Which is not, I have to say, sometimes in like big budget, certainly in big budget television and film, but even in big budget theater, you don't often get the chance to, I think, feel as collaborative as you did. It felt, there was just a lot of yes-anding, which is essential to this kind of thing. And I also, again, Max saying, if we believe it, hopefully they'll believe it. There is a certain heightened sense. A lot of these characters, as truthful as they are, they're living in a heightened sense. But if they honor that, and then that's their truth, then the audience, I think, is going to see something in it.
Yeah, I know. It's like they'll see something. I mean, I think they're going to like it. I think people are going to like it. And
I really do too.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, the trailers, there's a few different trailers on it. They all look amazing and what you're all doing. We have to give a big shout out to your creative team. I mean, your writer is Matt Werner, music by Gene Back, your choreographer, Ari Grooves, director Tyler Milleron. What made this creative team so special to work on? I know it was other people getting to, because I read through all your musical director and the lighting.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Everybody's really great. Down even to Con Limon, which was like our one of our producers, which was like Danny Marin, who's just beautiful and made everything so wonderful and inclusive about people's like pronouns and everything being respected. And that was like a really cool environment to be in. And I will say, like, working with Ari and Tyler, like those two have such visions, and Ari's just so cool, like such a savant and so good at what she does and just so in everything and so cool that like her vision is so clear in this movie, and the choreography is outrageous. And I do want to give like such a shout out to Somi Pak, who was our costume designer. She created just this iconic world of characters. Like it looks like I want to say like off-Broadway, Broadway, like show. It just is one of those things where it's iconic looks that will stand the test of time, in my opinion, just because everybody has their own specific, it's just everything is thought out and so personal. And I just love, specifically them. And also Tyler is just like, I believe really a genius at the, at what he does. I mean, he does he's just such a weird mind in terms of like how he can navigate a space. And it really, I think, lends this movie to be cinematically like cool and weird. Like his eye is really interesting. It's such a fun, that's like my perspective on them. And I love them all.
Tally, for you.
Well, they just really worked miracles with, it's not a major motion picture, so the budget is what it is. But what Somi did with the materials and the time she was given and the funds is truly miraculous, right. And it looks fantastic, and it's so evocative of Burning Man in the best way. I got involved with this through Stacia Fernandez and streaming musicals, and I can't say enough about her and Danny and their support of the project and us. And I should also say this, like it was my first, like I did a couple of things during the pandemic, like in terms of some television stuff, but this was my first foray back into a world where there's an active effort to truly include and respect everyone in terms of their pronouns, their right to exist as people. There was an active effort to create diversity in the casting, which is essential and should have happened, decades and decades and decades ago. But and that was became the involvement of a diverse company created essential and really important conversations that impacted the script. And I think that's what has to happen with art, so it represents, truly represents our world going forward. It was really exciting. Everyone went above and beyond. And again, I not to beat a dead horse, but like you're doing this all in the middle of a pandemic, and whatever you're dealing with, in your personal life, but everyone rose up and made art, and that's a thing to be celebrated. For anyone and everyone doing it throughout our industry, paid or not, it's to be celebrated. Yeah.
Favorite moment for each of you during the filming? What was it for each of you? Anyone can start. Favorite moment.
Okay, I had one. I enjoyed filming my character has like a whole entire, I think I want to say 7-minute dream ballet. That was probably my favorite filming. All like some of the slow motion sequences where I kind of got to improv and just be silly, because we also broke free of the soundstage and went outside into like the live world. And so that was, for me, that day was sort of a lot of fun. So that was my favorite moment.
Beautiful. Tally, for you.
There are a couple. There's one that I'm almost positive doesn't in the show, because again, we were in the film, we were able to improvise, but Max was there. It was Max and Troy. We were improvising some scene, and I think I don't play Troy Iwata's father, but I did at one point I improvised, "I'm your father," and I'm sure that's not going to end up, but it just made me laugh so much.
Yeah.
And then I have this my favorite stuff is scene work. I'm not a huge fan of monologues, but I did have this big speech that we did over and over, and Max, to his credit, was sitting there on the DJing the whole time, and I was just like,
you were doing anything, dude. Yeah, you were going.
Anything that could come into my mind. I was like, I don't know what they're going to make of this thing, but just the freedom to do that. And right. But that's not just that speech, just in the scenes in general. And everyone just wanted to play. Mm-hmm. No one was precious about respect the material, but no one was precious about this has to be this way, because there's a lot of happy accidents that can come from trusting each other.
Yeah, and I really do think that's going to be the charm of the film, is that there was so much improv and so much playing and so much happening on the spot that you're going to see that's going to translate.
Yeah.
Okay, my final question for both of you is, many people were supposed to make their Broadway debuts, and then the pandemic came. And it seems like they're all going to be most of them are going to be giving that shot again as Broadway reopens again. And Broadway debuts are so special. I want to ask you each about your Broadway debut and what you remember about that night. Max, I'm going to start with yours because, of course, yours was Grease. I was there with you on all the carpets, all during. What do you remember? How magical was that night for you?
I was very stressed because all of the eliminated contestants were in the front row from the reality show. That's the only thing I remember is I came out for my entrance and was like, oh my God, you guys, what? Why are they? Okay, fine. But it was crazy. I don't even remember my Broadway debut. I remember it, but it was like a crazy wedding, but it was so terrifying, but so thrilling. I loved it so much.
But your family was there that night too.
Yes, everybody was there. I mean, everybody I'd ever met in my life, I felt like was there. It was such a crazy experience. It was such a beautiful welcome to New York. It was so cool. What I specifically remember was the eliminated Danny's and Sandy's from the reality show, just watching the show like
You never told me that opening night. I remember meeting your whole entire family and everybody you've ever met in your life, but I was like, I didn't realize that. So that's your big memory of that night.
Yes. It's my joke.
Exactly. Tally, for you, was yours House of Blue Leaves?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, I made my Broadway debut in the 2011 revival of House of Blue Leaves that David Crumm directed with Ben Stiller and Edie Falco and Jennifer Jason Leigh and lots of other incredible people. I had two pivotal lines.
Yep. Do you remember them?
No, I don't. I played White Man. Now that's not. If you know the play, if you know John Gore's play, he's an orderly from a mental institution. So that's what was my costume. And I remember he comes in, picks up Jennifer Jason Leigh, and there's an explosion, and then I was gone. Then I was back to the dressing room. But I remember I've been hustling for a while in New York, and I remember it feeling like the culmination of a lot of hard work. And I also remember thinking, don't forget this, because not everyone gets to do this. I should also say, I love our Broadway community. I also don't think it's a validation of people's talent, because there's a lot of people that are out there working hard in all facets of the industry who never get to make it, who don't get to make those Broadway debuts, or those shows don't come. And I felt very fortunate to be there. But it's again, I'll go back. Anyone that's making art, anyone that's putting themselves out there, anyone that's championing the industry like you do, Richie, like it's like, you got to be celebrated, So I remember feeling very fortunate, and also getting to actually just be a fly on the wall and watch David Crumm direct and listen to him, because that man's a master at getting truthful human behavior out of people. It was great.
So I remember both of yours vividly. I remember Orderly. I don't know if it was Orderly number 1 or whatever. A White Man. I remember
the only one, the only Orderly, Richie.
Number one, baby.
The only one.
See, now I'm less precious about my debut. I don't remember any magic. I don't care that nobody makes their debut, and I think it's all meaningless.
I remember you, Max. You were like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, please, yeah. It was like still like
meaningless.
One of the most magical moments of my life. I couldn't even believe it. It felt like it was happening to somebody else. Yeah, but it's that sort of.
But again, for you, I mean, you auditioned week after week. You auditioned for millions and millions of people. So anyone who has ever done a reality show, you should be able to audition, or you could audition for anybody in the world, because you did it week after week after week for millions and millions of people.
It's true.
And you won.
That's right. All by myself.
Love that. Well, listen, We're just about out of time. Once again, Max Crumm and Tally Sessions are two of the stars of Burning Man the Musical, which will have its world premiere on Broadway On Demand on August 27th in conjunction with the 2021 edition of Virtual Burning Man. Tickets are $7.99 for a 48-hour rental or $19.99 to buy it, to own it, a purchase. That's what I'm going to do. And tickets can be purchased at BroadwayOnDemand.com. Thank you both for dropping by today at Broadway World.
Please, of course. Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you both. Max, I love your background. Like I said, when you start your own show, it's perfect. Tally, I love where you are now in San Diego. Congratulations on the new musical you're working on.
Thank you.
Both of you, congratulations on Burning Man. And I cannot wait to see both of you in New York on a carpet or watching you on a stage make the magic that the both of you make.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you all at the theater. Take care. Bye-bye.
These doors offer a new start, Molly. Your whole life has led to this moment.
Why do you want to work at Safe Word Venture Capital?
You're the top venture capital firm in Silicon Valley.
I know that, but why do you want to work here? Have you been to Burning Man?
Burning Man?
Welcome to Burning Man.
What a player! Here comes a player! Camp Safe Word hosts the most exclusive soiree at Burning Man. I got on the board to terraform this place into something valuable. You got a free ticket to Burning Man. Be a sparkle pony.
Mother used to call me Sparkle Pony as a child. I used to love my little pony, but I am here now.
I see a domineering presence in your life.
My ex,
Sparkle Pony.
a new boss.
What have you heard about Burning Village?
You will rise up and take them down.
Right now, influencers and tech CEOs are deciding the fate of this place. We are fighting to save the playa.
This will be my desert.
I'm home. I found my strength here. I am here now.